Welcome to Rich Keys Trading Channel, where we unlock one candle at a time. Please pay attention to the disclaimer on your screen. And with that out of the way, let's get into the charts. Okay, welcome to Rich Keys Trading Channel. Today is Sunday, the 16th of November 2025. Time is about 8:16 a.m. New York time, and I've done my usual weekly analysis, and I like to share it with my traders and the trading communities. So again, I like to remind everyone this is not financial advice. My analysis is not telling you to go buy, sell anything. It's just for you to use the information and the perspective that I'm sharing to do one your own analysis and formulate your own trade idea or trade plan around it. So with that out of the way, let's get into the chart. I would like to start first of all with the dollar index on the weekly chart. And I'm trying to get this all under 20 minutes, so forgive me if I do go too fast. So yes, on the dollar index, what I'm watching for this coming week, per our analysis last week, is this bearish shooting star that we had that brought us down to this support point. And last week, I was hoping that we'll get support at this level, where I've marked here as my stop loss, and then continue up. But apparently we did below it. However, the good news is we closed somewhere right above it or inside the zone that I was watching. So this level that we came to find support is critical for either a continuation to the upside or sideways price action and maybe to the downside. And that's one of the things that we need to watch out for in this coming week. My personal postulation is based on the daily chart, and on the daily chart, we've come to hit this level twice. Okay, we came to it, bounced off, come to it again. And when I go to the 4 hours, something interesting happens with the dollar index at this support point. So at this support level, it's also a pivot level. Um, it's with a bullish engulfing candle this time, and not just a bullish engulfing candle on the 4 hours. But if you look also on your indicators, on your RSI, this is where we came first. We went up and we bounced. So again, this is a divergence, a bull divergence. Now, this was last week's bullish divergence that played itself. Unfortunately, it did not materialize to the targets that we're looking for. So we do have another bullish divergence on this RSI chart, and I'm hopeful that this time around, hopefully, we might make it above the 55 EMA on the 4 hour time frame. So that will be my confirmation signal. If we don't make it above the 55, I wouldn't take a long position on the dollar because it's not confirmed. It could probably just hit the 55 and come back down. So make sure, if you're going to go long on the dollar, we need to open and close should be above our 55 EMA on the 4 hour time frame. So that would be my confirmation signal. Now, MACD wise, MACD is also giving us early promising signals of some form of reversal. So last week we didn't make our reversal. We had only this small MACD, and I was thinking, hopefully, if we do get some green bars here on 4 hours, it would have given us a good indication that we have found our floor. But now we do have some green histogram bars on the MACD normal 1226 MACD indicator, and that's to suggest to me that that level that we are looking for, that level of 98, would 98 613, hopefully that's hold. If you also look at my first MACD, we already above the zero line, and MACD is already moving up. So some promising signals that we found that support, and it might work itself out. Stochastic wise, we've already hit stochastic cycle low, and we're clinching at least with above the 50% level, which means we're potentially going to make a cycle high on 4 hour time frame. So again, I'm bias wise, I think the dollar moves up in this coming week. The next asset I would like to look at is Bitcoin. All right, and here is Bitcoin, and for Bitcoin, I'll probably start from a lower time frame, the 4 hour time frame, and see if I can make my way up to the higher time frame quickly. So Bitcoin, on as you know, is playing out, a bearish bias is worked out very well from the very top of 126,000 thereabout. And this is where we've got to this week. And this week, as I'm watching this chart, I think based on this 4 hour time frame, Bitcoin is probably going to consolidate sideways for a while, build momentum. Also, I'll show you something on the weekly chart briefly. And probably we may push up to about what 97 200 thereabout. I think they're about 97 600 maximum is probably where I think Bitcoin might push up to doing this sideways consolidation. We may not even get there, but I suspect that they'll try and at least knock off some stop losses right above this zone here. Indicators wise, it suggests that okay, we hit a cycle. RSI was oversold. Now we're bouncing within the normal range, around 40 to about what 37 on RSI on 4 hours. So nothing significant here other than sideways price action. Momentum is clinked up, but not with so much strength as we are below zero with our MACD signal and MACD lines. So I'm not expecting a reversal from here. I think Bitcoin continuation to the downside is at this point intact. We've broken major trend lines on the chart, and as I step down to the weekly, the only reason why I would expect some move up is because we are way outside our Bollinger Band on the weekly chart. All right, so on the weekly chart, this is your Bollinger Band outside line here, and we have actually exceeded our weekly Bollinger Band. That doesn't mean that it can go down anymore. It just says that price may move towards the band a little bit more before continuation to the downside. There are a few cautions I would like to also share on Bitcoin chart. Is this level here? This fib retrace of 0.618, and I've labeled that as 1D. Wave A 6.18. So this is a support level on Fibonacci measurements, right? So it's reacting to this level, obviously, and it's probably going to consolidate like I just showed you from 4 hours. And then ultimately we might go down some more. As you can see, the indicators doesn't suggest that we are done with the Bitcoin fall. So any move to the upside, in my opinion, is temporary. There's more falling on Bitcoin to occur. On the daily chart, briefly, just to see what the daily looks like, we've hit a cycle low on Bitcoin on the daily. So this again suggests that we might get some push up or sideways consolidation for a moment before we continue downside move. So play caution now where we are Bitcoin. I'm not expecting the gash down significantly to be as big as we have done all the way from the 106 to the 94 or 93 level. I do expect us to consolidate here, similar to what we had here, and then we'll make our next leg down. If we do break above this level of about 99, let's say 99 to about 100,000, that could then suggest also that the leg down on this time frame, on the weekly time frame, we've hit a leg down that I'll consider a done, and potentially we could probably retrace all the way up to about 106 219 before we continue going down. But the weekly chart doesn't suggest that, and we have no reversals as well, no divergence, nothing. Likewise, on the daily chart, we don't have any proper divergence on the daily chart at the moment. So, um, more downside targets for Bitcoin after some sideways price action is my conclusion. The next asset I would like to look at is XPX and the Nasdaq 100. Okay, and here is a chart of the Nasdaq 100 on the daily time frame. This is looking very interesting. I probably want us to start on the weekly. So on the weekly time frame, this is what I'm looking at. Okay, so we did form this shooting star about 3 weeks ago, and we had this bearish engulfing candle last week, and we did a very sharp sell down. Now this week we do have an indecision candle. It's bearish, but indecision. All right. So we're watching this indecision candle to formulate our analysis in the next coming week. Indicators wise, yes, divergences are still in place. As you can see, your RSI highs have been declining. So divergences are in place. We've come to this level. And the question that we're going to ask ourselves is, are we going to dip below the 50% level on the weekly chart? And I think we might in the next coming week. But let's take our time as we analyze this chart carefully. MACD also did show all this divergence all this while. As a matter of fact, that began July 21st week. MACD has been giving us all this divergence until now, and that it's really working itself out. Now, if you look at your MACD, signal and MACD lines, they are yet to cross. It hasn't crossed yet. So again, the confirmation for a long-term reversal or downside hasn't yet been confirmed. Realizing that our MACD lines haven't crossed. So these are a few clues that I'm picking up from my weekly chart. Now, stepping down to the daily, I think what happened on the 4 hours and the daily chart, it's something we need to pay attention to. And I think based on this doji candle that we have, the key here is the volume. You want to look at this volume carefully. So VPA analysis would suggest to me that there was huge selling, but there was also huge absorbing of the selling that brought price to a stalemate. So price came with an indecision candle. Now, with this indecision candle, what my expectations would be is that price may either consolidate sideways. We may push slightly above to this level here, which is about 25,257. But obviously, as the weekly trend is intact, or weekly reversal is intact, I'm not expecting us to go break above this invalidation level that we had last week, which is the 25,807 level. Any price move above this level means that all downside targets are invalidated, and we should be looking for upside target, but I doubt we're going to get that. I think what is going to happen in this coming week based on my analysis is that we're going to go sideways, consolidate for a while here, and then continue our way down. Our next target that we will be looking for is the 24,000 level, somewhere around 24,063. This target is very important. As I um, said from last week, that there are a lot of trap traders right here. So when we did move all the way down here, price did not start from here. We gapped up. So here is the gap up. All right. So this gap up trapped a lot of traders right here who were holding short positions. And so obviously when price gets here, I do expect a reaction. So this is my initial target on NASDAQ 100 as we do consolidate sideways before our next leg down. And again, if you look at the 4 hours, we had a sharp, bullish engulfing candle that pushed us to test the 200 EMA on 4 hours. But see, this 200 EMA is now going sideways, okay, suggesting or supporting the thesis of a sideways price action before the next leg down. Indicators wise, I think there is also a hidden bear, because one would also look at this and say this is a double bottom right here. But again, this double bottom doesn't have a divergence at all. So it doesn't give me enough confidence that this double bottom is going to hold its support here to push us above this level. I think already this high here and this high here is a hidden bear. The reason being that if you look at your indicators, so this is your first level right about here, and that brought us down. We have made a lower high, and our RSI is almost at a higher or about equal level. So again, this is where the hidden bear will show itself up probably in the next day or two on the Nasdaq 100. I think that's about all that I want to share on the Nasdaq 100. Cycle wise, we bounced off cycle low. We haven't hit cycle high yet, but we are mid cycle, which means we could just scrunch down from here and go down. Let me quickly look at the XPX500, and we look at gold and silver to quickly conclude our analysis. And pretty much the chart pattern on the XPX 500 is not much different from the Nasdaq 100. They are pretty much in tandem with each other. Only difference is one may either go down more sharply than the other, but they are both presenting the same story. So I wouldn't even spend too much time on here. Now on the weekly chart, we literally closed inside last week's bearish engulfing candle after the gravestone doji candle. So this is still bearish in my opinion. And I think based on indicators wise, um, wow, even here, MACD is also almost crossing down below the zero line on the histogram bar. And MACD signal and MACD lines are about crossing also. But as you can look, compared to the NASDAQ 100, this is in a worse position as this is almost crossing over. And once this crosses over, I expect more downside price action on the XPX 500. So now that we've looked at it from the higher time frame, I'll quickly step down to the daily and the 4 hours. And the story, like I said, was no different, except that whilst on the NASDAQ 100, we closed with a green doji. Here we're closing with a red indecision candle on huge volume off the 50 or 55 EMA support level. I think ultimately this will come down. So I would even want to spend a lot of time as I want to try and do this all under 20 minutes. So I think target wise, I expect us to come to somewhere here. This target right here, about 65.50 is my target for the XPX 500 in the next coming week or so. Let's look at gold and silver and wrap up our analysis for the week. And here is a weekly picture or chart of gold. And this worked according to plan as last week. I was looking at it and I said, based on that triangle that I showed on I think it was on the 12-hour time frame. Yes, so on the 12-hour time frame, I drew this pennant, triangle, and I was saying that we need to be careful, as depending on which side of the triangle breaks, will give you a trade bias. So we did break above, the upper side of the triangle, and for day traders or weekly traders, the move up from about this level to this level, which I call the invalidation level here, was a good swing. Like I said, I wasn't expecting price to make it above this level. This is the I think it's the 0.618 fib retrace, from this high, from the all-time high. And once we did not go above it, that suggests to me that we have further downside to go on gold. So literally, you could take the move down here from here to here as your wave A. Now this is your wave B, and I'm expecting a wave C. So wave C, I'm expecting us to come below this level that we found support to make this move up. So my target wise for gold this coming week is somewhere around this 38.26. This target is still valid on my chart, and I'll be watching out for it in this coming week. So indicators wise, while on still on this 12-hour time frame, we could literally see we've hit our cycle high. We continue our way down. We haven't hit a cycle low yet. MACD is also inching down, and my first MACD has already given us a heads up. We're already below zero. Lines already crossed. So again, I'm very bearish on gold in this coming week, and I think we will hit our intended target of about 38.26, should all things work out. The next asset I'll look at is silver. And again, here is a weekly picture of the silver chart. And silver did quite an extraordinary move. Did go above our invalidation level, which was somewhere around here. Okay, the good news is we did close also right about there. So, it did go above it. In other words, if you had a stop loss here, as I was saying, that if price closed above this level, then definitely there was further upside to it. So, whatever be the case, we did hit a top close to our previous all-time high of 54, yeah, 54,798. All right, we came close to it. We came to 54,406. Now this This is a double top in my opinion. I usually prefer double tops that exceed the high, but give or take, we came right into the zone. So I'm looking at it from the perspective that it's a double top pattern. Indicators on the weekly is also showing that we've hit close to that high, but here is our RSI. So again, huge divergence in development. Next week would confirm this divergence. However, we traders need to know what's going to happen in the next week so we can trade. I'm looking at it from the daily perspective so I could get a trade bias. And on the daily perspective, if you look at silver, you could see the reversal signals already in place. So usually, if you make such a move up close to the all-time high, but you're not able to hit that all-time high, this literally says that all those who could not sell at the highest possible price did offload right here, and I don't expect silver to continue going up. I actually think silver is coming back down, and it will come down harder than probably gold because of this pattern that it has established now on the daily chart. Indicators wise, our fast MACD has already dipped down. Stochastic cycle is already crossed down. We already seen MACD also giving us the same kind of divergence that I was talking about on the weekly. So here was your all-time high divergence, MACD, and now you hit close to that same all-time high, but this is all that you're making. And once on the daily chart, this MACD signal line crosses down, that's it. I think silver will be in the worst sell-off than even gold. On 4 hours, as you can see, price is still moving its way down, retesting this 55 EMA. But then you can look also and see that on this 4 hour time frame, you are having your 9 and 21 crossover, similar to what we have here. And once this crossover gets established, we are on our way down. So I think my next target for silver will probably be a much lower target. In this case, I would expect silver to come somewhere around this 48 level. Okay, we need to come back to this level and might consolidate around this level before our next leg down. So I think I've exceeded my 20 minutes time frame recording limit. And I'd like to thank you for spending your time listening to the analysis. I wish you a profitable trade. Have a great trading week, everybody. Cheers.
Thank you for listening and unlocking trade ideas and insights with us. One candle changed everything today. I hope you can already see how today's analysis can transform your trading decisions. If today's breakdown helped you spot opportunities or potential risks you would have otherwise missed, please consider subscribing and imagine what we will uncover together next time. Kindly give the video a like and share with an investor or a trader you care about. They would thank you when it saves them from a bad trade or a missed opportunity. Until next time, keep unlocking profits one candle at a time, and we'll meet again in the next video presentation. Cheers.